Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video. Today we are making a visit to Bergen Town Center in Paramus, New Jersey. Now this is an old mall. This opened up back in the 50s and it's undergone many changes over the years. By the time the 90s rolled around, it was a dying mall. Now they made some major renovations in the early 2000s and this place bounced back, kind of rebirthed itself as an outlet mall, and we're gonna go check it out because they have just opened up a new history exhibit on the mall's past, and I'm very excited to see that. It has lots of vintage photos of this mall's history, and you know I love stuff like that, and I'm sure you do too. So let's go check out Bergen Town Center. Come with me. You know, every time I come here, it looks different. I feel like they're always updating it, always changing something, and it is very, very busy here right now. So we'll take a little look at the mall. Hopefully it's not too busy to film, but we'll see how things go today. Alrighty, so this is a single floor mall. As you can see, it's very nice inside here, very modern, has kind of this cool vaulted ceiling, and it's just basically one long walkway with all these different outlet stores alongside of it. And we do have some food places here. We have a Charlie's cheesesteak, and I think there's pizza places and stuff like that. Yeah, over here is a Nike outlet, and this place stays very busy. I've come to this mall before, and there were like crowds of people in this store. We have a Skechers, lots of kiosks. I always remember this mall having a lot of very active kiosks. But let's see if we can find the little history exhibit that they have set up, because that's going to be very interesting. This mall has a very interesting past. All right, I think this hallway is where we have the history exhibit set up. Yeah, all along this wall. Looks like we have some historical photos, but let's go back to the beginning. Start at the beginning of this mall. All righty, I think this is the beginning of the timeline. So it's Bergen Town Center, originally known as the Bergen Mall. 1957 this opened with host of the Today Show, Dave Garroway, as the MC. I don't know who Dave Garroway is. That's way before my time. But it was open air, I believe, when it first opened. Look at this old ad for it. And these vintage pictures. This was the opening ceremony. Lyndon B. Johnson, the president, was here. Okay, so this was a visit from Lyndon B. Johnson. And look at this old picture here. Original anchor was a Stearns department store, which is now defunct. I remember there was a Stearns at a mall by me growing up, but that closed. I think they folded with Macy's and other department stores. I don't see a date on this picture, but we can see a J.J. Newberry store. Must have been an old department store. Opened as an open-air shopping center, and in 1973 it was enclosed, becoming the oldest enclosed mall in New Jersey. And we can see an aerial view of it. And now this building here, that's now a Target, and we can see sort of like the main concourse area of the mall. And just look at all of those cars in the parking lot. You know, I'm used to going to dead malls, so it's kind of surprising to see a mall just with a packed parking lot like that. But growing up, that's how they all were. And here's another aerial view of the mall. These are some vintage pictures. Look at this cool cat here. Must be having a little fashion show. And look at the old stores behind it. Very neat. And this must have been like a lighting store. Or is that antiques? I can't tell. But this must have been from the 70s. Just look at how cool they look. And we had a science fair here at the mall. Some kind of robot. That looks like it's a lot of fun. And I guess there was a Americana exhibit. But look at the old Bergen Mall sign. Original name of this mall was the Bergen Mall. And the Stearns picture, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And that Christmas candle, Christmas lights display. Oh my gosh, I love vintage department store pictures like this. Doesn't say where exactly this photo was taken, but it may have been a restaurant inside the Stearns department store. I know it was very common for mall department stores to have restaurants inside of them, but it may have been a different restaurant inside the mall. Very interesting. If you happen to know where this was, please let me know down in the comments. Yeah, and I guess John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson were here. Kind of crazy to think, you know, all these major historical figures just coming to your local mall. But I guess that's how things were back then. So there was a playhouse open inside the mall from 1960 to 1982, and they would have like off-Broadway productions here. William Shatner was in one of them. Look at that. That's something you don't see anywhere else. I don't know of any other mall that has like a playhouse or a theater or anything like that. So I don't see a date on these, but look at these vintage pictures of the mall. Doesn't that just take you right back in time? Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Look at these. Oh my gosh. I could stare at photos like this for hours. I geek out about stuff like this. I am so happy that the mall decided to put these historical pictures on display like this. And what is that? That's a candy store, card store. One of the oldest mall videos on YouTube is actually a video about this mall. It was posted, I think, 20 years ago, and it was actually shot in the early 2000s at this mall before they renovated it. So you can actually see some footage of what this mall used to look like back then. It's really astounding. I think it was before Dan Bell's Dead Mall series, before Dead Malls became a craze. Check that video out. I'll leave a link down below. So here we can see the fountain that used to be in the mall. And look at how beautiful that is. So now if you actually go watch the old video on this mall, they have footage of the fountain running. It was still there in the early 2000s before they renovated it. And there used to be this weird little section in the bottom of the mall called the Village Mall. And it was sort of like these little tiny shops. And there was actually a chapel down in the mall. We're gonna go see if we can find out where this section used to be. More vintage pictures of the mall, some shoppers getting ice cream. Yeah, there was a chapel in the mall. And that's something that I actually still do see. I still do see churches inside of malls. Another vintage picture of the mall. They don't have dates on all of these, so I don't know when exactly they were filmed, when they were taken. But here we can see the Easter Bunny in front of the Stearns. And what is this? Some kind of sci-fi picture here. Original illustrations by the brothers Hildebrand, twin artists who created the Tolkien. They had their art displayed in the Bergen Mall in 1980. Interesting. Punchy the Frequent Shopper. What is this? Is this some sort of like robot that would like go around the mall? That's pretty interesting. Never seen that before. Tiffany, 1987. Tiffany performed at the mall. Now, if you're old like us, we grew up watching MTV. And what was the video? I Think We're Alone Now. She was performing inside of malls.
But she kicked it off here at Bergen Mall.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
She started the tour here. Oh, that's so cool. We love Tiffany. Tiffany, if you're watching this, we're big fans. So there's an Old Value City. I'm guessing that's where the Target is now. I'm not entirely sure. But look at this picture here. Look at how warm and inviting that is. All the old lights. Oh my gosh, that's magical. And now here we start to see when the mall became renovated to much of what it looks like now. It actually looks even different than this right now. But they had a Bobby Flay's Burger Palace. And there was Filene's Basement. That's gone now. Century 21. I remember coming here and actually going into the Century 21. It was kind of an interesting store. It had a lot of like streetwear and stuff. But Century 21 as a company, they've folded. They've gone under. Here we can see renovations in process. Yeah, this is pretty much very similar to what it looks like now. There's a Whole Foods, a Marshall's. Here's Bobby Flay attending his restaurant. I don't think the Bobby Flay restaurant's not there anymore. There's actually a whole bunch of different restaurants out in front of this mall. Yeah, and this is what the mall looks like now. There's the Century 21. That's no longer there. And this is the 2023 Food Truck Festival. That looks like a good time. We have some bands playing. Ice cream truck. That looks like a fun time. Maybe we'll have to come and do a food truck festival in a mall parking lot one of these days. Yeah, in 2022 they started changing it up again. And this is what it looks like now, which we saw when we walked in the mall. Yeah, this is what the mall looks like today. You know, not very old school or interesting, but it's really amazing that they managed to bounce back from having dead mall status. Like, this was a struggling mall. This was a dying mall. And they revitalized it. They breathed new life into it. So that's what it is today. Yeah, very impressive front-facing display here. So this mall, it has changed a lot. And it just goes to show you that, you know, in the era of online shopping, when brick and mortar retail is declining, if they put the time to keep revitalizing stuff, they can keep it alive, they can keep it going. As someone who's very geeky about vintage malls, vintage retail, and stuff like that, you know, I understand that a lot of the malls are getting updated, changing, and it's something they have to do to stay alive. But to see something like this, basically like a full museum display dedicated to the mall's history, that's something I really appreciate that they've done here at Bergen Town Center. And I'm very happy to come here and share it with you guys. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. (1957), and it's still kicking, still alive. Great mall success story. Yeah, so they have a full Kohl's here, and that's where the Century 21 used to be. It's just a very nice open mall. Up ahead is where they actually added a second level to it, but it's just a Burlington above the Marshalls. And over here is the Whole Foods market. So it's sort of like an outlet mall. I guess it would be considered an outlet mall. And it's very busy. We're here on a weekday, and it's just full of people. They've done so much to this mall. Like, I remember coming here a couple years back, and it had been updated, but there's so much more here now than there was before. So they're really putting the work into this mall to keep it alive, to keep it going, and that's a good thing. Snack zone, what is this? Vending machines are crazy nowadays. This is a machine where you can come and they will make you cotton candy. And what do they have in this one? That's a whole massive cookie vending machine. That's awesome. See, and they say technology is bad, but, you know, seeing stuff like this, I gotta disagree.
Yep.
All right, let's go take a look up on this second level. And this was added in recent years. Let's just get ourselves a view of the mall from up here. We have a Burlington. And let's see what the mall looks like from this angle. I gotta say, it's still a really nice looking mall. Even though they've modernized it, I still think it looks good. So now this area down here, I think this is where the Village Mall section was. We can take the escalator down, and down here there was a chapel, but it was also just sort of like a little miniature mall within a mall that had like small businesses and stuff inside of it. So I think this is where it was. I'm not entirely sure. But down here we have sort of like this lower level to the mall, sort of like this strange, it's strange how this mall is set up. You know, it doesn't really make sense, but when you know that this was a former village section down here, it kind of makes sense. I'm assuming that this is where it was, but I'm not entirely sure. But down here they have two full-size stores. They have the Home Goods and the Bloomingdale's outlet. Yeah, if you go watch that old Bergen Mall video, you can see what this used to look like. It was sort of this strange little section here. And what's down this way? So I guess they have a World Market here now. Are we going to end up in the back rooms?
A World Market, yeah.
A World Market. Yeah, let's go check out some of the stuff down here. Yeah, like I said, the layout of this mall, it's very, very strange. And it only makes sense when you know that this was an old mall that they've just kind of chopped up and reassembled over the years. All right, so here's Lincoln Tech. And I guess there's World Market down here? Maybe we actually have to walk out of the mall and back into it to get to the World Market. Okay, so yeah, here we go. We have Nordstrom Rack and World Market, and all of these face out to the street. You can get to these without even having to go into the mall. So I guess they've kind of turned this into sort of like a little hybrid concept, you know? It's like front-facing stores, but there is still a pretty active mall section inside. It's very interesting, this mall. I think this World Market, it used to be a Neiman Marcus. It was some other like department type store, and they just recently reopened a World Market. But that's good. That's good that they're filling their spaces, that they're getting new tenants in. It's a sign that this mall's healthy. The Paramus area has about 4 enclosed malls and many other shopping options, but I feel like Bergen Town Center is really slept on. It's got some great shopping options. Vibes are still pretty nice for a modern mall. And just seeing that little history exhibit, it just makes me so happy to see that they're embracing their history instead of running from it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out my Patreon or consider becoming a channel member. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.